I'm in frame. You can see me good. You can see this good.
Kind of is like trying to focus on it. It's doing the same thing.
Too much motion makes it want to focus.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try to keep it slow. All right, Shalom Israel. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, brought the thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shemal, Allah Thumb, Hashem, Yahweh Shai to the sisters. This is the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, established in 1969, 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are led by Commander General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other organization. We come to you live from ISUPK Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is Friday, Shawan Qadash class. So now last week, and again, I apologize for the lady. We're still going to work on getting this thing right so that we ain't got that glare on the dry erase board. So it might be a little bit dark. If anybody needs me to rewrite something or write it into the text, into the chat box, just let me know. Any questions, comments, or concerns, you can connect with us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Like, share, subscribe to the content, and let's get this thing going. So now, last week, we had just went over the alphabet. What I want to do today is go over, we're going to do the alphabet again up top. But I also want to go over, in the Assyrian script, some of the characters that look alike, that get confused for other characters. In English, we got the alphabet, we got letters, but in Hebrew, it'd be more so characters because it was a pictographic language as far as writing it down. So, we'll get right into it. We're going to do the Paleo Hebrew, and then we're going to write down the Assyrian equivalent. We'll give you some time to write that down if you need to study it. Screenshot it, save it to your hard drive, whatever. And then we're going to erase that, and then we're going to go over some of the characters that a lot of people just get confused with each other. So now, in the Paleo Hebrew, can you see that? Can you see that?
So it's real blurry, but you can see it now that you stop moving. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right, got in front of it, it starts to get really blurry.
Gotcha. All right, so maybe we'll even do it bit by bit. Ba. Ga. How's that looking? I'll take it for now. Again, once we get the lighting situated, this will be a lot clearer. Get some thick markers, definitely help out. But we'll just, because we have the use of a big board like this, we can just start off this way. So, first three characters in here, A, Ba, Ga. Now, we'll get into this in the later classes, but these are also numerical equivalencies. 1, 2, 3. Just to start off. So, A, Ba, Ga. Really, I'm gonna write it up here too anyway. Just because we can. A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ta, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Ha, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Tha. Now again, everybody's penmanship is going to be a little bit different. As long as we're sticking, at least within that same ballpark, it's all going to look like this. So now the first three characters that we did, ah, ba, da. Now we're going to do da, ha, wa, da, ha, wa. And again, we'll get into this more in later classes. But like with that da, with that triangle, as everybody wants to say that this is a hexagram, and it's cultic, it's satanic, witchcraft, blah 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 blah.
They also say it's gang related too.
Gang related, yeah. And it's crazy because then GDs, when they chose this as a symbol after one of their leaders, David, they call him King David, and then they use this after that. So they knew that this symbol was attached to King David. This is how he signed his name. This is how he gave his seal of authority, of approval, letters attached, packages sent. That's how he signed his name. Ancient Hebrew graffiti, in a sense. Just the shorthand that we do. The slang that we speak and write with. That's just how the brother signed his name. All he did was take that dot. His name was, if I were to use just English letters, Da, Wa, Da. Dawada in Hebrew. In English, you would say David. In Hebrew, you would have said Dawada. So now that Wa, this symbol right here, pictographically, this is like a tent peg or like a tent post, a nail, something like that. It's meant to join something together. The Da is the entrance to a house. Just the way that he styled his name. He just took that Da and took the other one and just joined them together. It just happened to look cold. It just happened to look cool. It's a slick way of writing your name. Now, prior to finding this out, when I first came into the school, just a sidebar, when I first came into the school, prior to finding this out, I did the same thing with my name. I took my initials. Aman, so Aman Gabar, A-G. I did the same thing with my initials when I first came into the school, before I really heard the breakdown about this. Because this wasn't the first thing that we learned about, but it happened to tie in. That's how the brother signed his name. When I initial things down in the school, this is how I do it, and people recognize it. That's just how the brother got done. You know, the language, the culture, it's very spiritual. Very spiritual. And it's practical. That's the other part that a lot of people don't get. It's practical. We apply these principles to life. I'm not saying that the character Ah is a principle. Like we ain't Egyptians. Like they ain't no hieroglyphs. You're gonna learn something from the head of a book. But it's symbolic of strength, authority, power. So there is a meaning behind it, but it's not going to be like, you're not going to sit there and meditate about God and get some like holy supernatural meaning or healing or message from it. They do have meaning behind each character, but it's nothing. Again, it's not like how Kemet or the unconscious community tries to philosophize their customs. Okay?
I was gonna say like ritualistic.
Yeah.
Way of doing
Yeah.
it. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
ain't nothing like that. Which is how they always do things.
Right.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So they always got like a ritual practice behind it. There's supposed to be some philosophical meaning behind it. No, that was the head of a bull. That was the head of a bull. That's a house. What was that? Like the foot or the door, you know, the hand, the tent. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't or tent peg. Tent peg, the post. It don't go no deeper than that. People try to put too much behind, even like the letter A, like numbers, numerology. Numerology is crazy. You can add all these letters up because of their alphabetical equation and come up with a whole like tradition behind it. That don't mean nothing. That is vain. That is empty. So we got Abaga. We did Da Ha Wa. We're gonna go Za Ha Ha. Captain Tazariak or Captain Kataza or just yeah ha ta
You said that's top.
ta ta. So this would have been the equivalent for T. A lot of times they want to use the taza for a T or even the tha. Even the tha. It's like tha. We'll use the tha for a T sound. But in reality, this would have been like the closest that you would have gotten to like the English equivalent sound. Za, ha, ta. And we'll do another class later on about like the meanings behind each of them. Well, we'll get into like the specific breakdowns about each character. But right now, again, I just want people to get familiar and comfortable with the alphabet. Write these down as you need to go. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Write in the chat. So we had Abaga, Da Ha Wa, Za Ha Ta. Give you a couple more seconds just to look at it, write it down if needed. And again, we're going to continue working on the lighting. It's just difficult to not have that glare on here. So we got to find some way to not produce a glare, because that just wants to shine right back. Good.
So even if we turn the light on the camera,
say that again.
Even if we do
yeah, same thing.
Okay.
Because that kind of gets in the way. So we'll keep it right here for now. If you can't see it, just let me know what we're missing or what else I got to add to it. But if you can see it, then I guess we're good to go for now. But we are going to work on the leg. So we got za, ta, ta. And I know oftentimes you're going to hear Tazaria. You're going to hear that ka sound or kataza. Nobody's really going to pronounce that guttural ka. Ka. But when you see this, Because you also have the K sound, the K, the straight K, take, bake, cook, keep. If you have that same like K sound, it's a lot of people end up still pronouncing this the same way. And you're going to hear it often with like our captains and other brothers, Kapash, Captain Kapash. It's Kapash. Just, it ends up I don't want to say being dumbed down to Kapash. But it does get overlooked a lot of times. We know what we're looking at when we're reading it, so it's kind of a different mentality behind it. Just a lot of people don't have that muscle memory to include the k sound. So they want to call it like a hard H. K. But it also has that K like kicking to it. But that's just the language. So now we had we're gonna do za, ka, ta. Now we got ya. Yeah. Now let's pick the graphic of like a hand, like grab. You can kind of see that with this. We're about to snatch something up. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that was more of an open hand. La. So we got ya, ka, la. Make that a little bit bigger. You can clean that up a little bit. La. Ya, ka, la. A couple seconds to look over it. And again, these all have numerical equivalents. We didn't have a writing system of like what we see today in America or across the world about like even Japan uses like one. Like they've got their own calligraphy damn near type shit, but they still use those numbers, like recognizable numbers. It's kind of a universal language in that sense. They still use those numbers. In our writing system, again, these all had numerical value. And we'll have another class on that. We don't want to try to box you in to just think that this is just one thing. It's got multiple meanings. This character in itself has multiple meanings. It's got a numerical value. It's not just by the hand. It's depending on the context of the word that's involved and how it starts and what's followed up with it too. Because we'll get into pronouns and suffix and propositions and future tense, past tense, things like that. But you have to look at like the whole word that's involved to actually see what it's talking about. But with it being a pictographical language and these having meanings behind it, it'll kind of tell a story in a sense, which is what's going to give you the context of what the word is. Give me a couple more seconds. Ya, ka, la. Ma, na, sa, which is actually these three together is actually really close to one of the tribes of Israel, Manasseh, or in Hebrew we would say Manasseh, but it would have had the ha at the end of it. But Manasseh, Manasseh, these two would have been connected. This would have stayed by itself. This would have stayed by itself. So just to kind of ease you into it, again, we're going to get into more of how to connect things. What stands alone, what gets joined, and then what pronunciation gets dropped off at the end. At the end of it, it's always going to be that sound that gets dropped off. So when you see something like this that's connected, sa and ha, it's going to be sa. If it were na in sa, it would be nas. You're not going to pronounce that nasa. It's going to be nas. If it was a ma and the na, and that were connected, man. Man instead of mana, man. But again, a different class for a different day. Have that conversation, Brandon. A couple more seconds. Review right now. You're good. Go right through. Yeah, right. I'm blocking. Couple more seconds. Leave it on the board for a little bit. Shadow.
Yeah, shadow will be blocking the whole sun.
I got you.
And the sun was completely dark.
Completely gone.
Completely gone.
We got to work on this lighting. Definitely got to work on the lighting. Because I don't like, even if we had something like this.
Or what if we did like a LED light strip? You know what I'm saying? To go above the book. We can talk about this after the slide.
No, you good. No, that's a good idea. It's something to think about. Because I was thinking about something like that too, like trying to border, like we talk about bordering this.
With some LED light strips. You know what I'm saying? And then you can put that on there, and then it should be able to show a little bit better.
That might just work. We're gonna have to experiment with a few things. Shout out to the other schools, that got, you got Maccabi, like I don't want Maccabi out there in Minnesota, in St. Paul, Minneapolis. Teaches an excellent Shawan Qadash class. You got Adawan Has the Hab out there in headquarters in New York. You got Adawan Marah out there in Philly. Excellent classes. You got the brother Raul Bond out there in the UK. Hell of a class. So I mean, whatever we can make work, we got to make work. So what we got right now, we're gonna work on it though.
Gotcha.
We got ma, na, and sa.
Somebody at the door?
Go check. Ma, na, and sa. We got I. Ha. Taza. I think we even got a brother in the school named IPOC.
Is there where you can get one of these emails? No, I'm saying when people are coming in from email.
I did mention that last question, so thank you for reminding me of it. So now we also do have this in the email form too. Why the sister for bringing that up. If you need a copy of this that you can study on your own at home, if you want to include your email into the chat box. So we're on live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. If you want to throw us your email address, we can send you the last one for that. It's going to include the Paleo Hebrew, it's going to include the Assyrian script, and then the Assyrian handwritten. So now again, everybody's penmanship is going to be a little bit different from each other. Everybody's penmanship is going to be a little bit different. Just try to, maintain that familiarity. You might be left-handed or something like that, or it might be more natural for you to do, a different way, but keep it in the same ballpark. Okay, it's at least it is that. So now the I is just a circle. Really. It's like an I. It's like one of these. It's an I. Ha. I. Ha. That's I. Now again, pictographically, you got I, you got the open mouth. So, just open mouth. Nobody. Niggas arguing. It says ah. This is also marked like a tray. They had this like a straight line maybe, and then like a trail that went off. And the pictographic aspect of it we'll get into later. Go ahead. How to do it. Gonna die?
Nah, say 6%.
All right. Ha. Tazah. I believe we got 22 characters from the English alphabet. You got 26. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. You got 22 characters in the English alphabet. You got 26 because they had to try to account for some of the missing sounds that were incorporated with their language. That's why they added the U, the E, the O, the V. They had to add some things into because of how they talked. They had to try to reconcile our dialect with theirs. They had to try to make sense of that. Moving on. And again, with the Paleo Hebrew, there's very few characters that really look alike. This is hard to kind of confuse and mess up with each other. The closest you might get is maybe, the Ha and the Ya. I guess maybe the Ta and Sa. Maybe even the Ma and Na. But for the most part, because they are so distinct and unique, these would be harder to get confused with other characters in the same lineup. The pronunciation ends up falling apart when we get to the Assyrian, which we are about to do in a second here. So just finish this off. We're just going to write these last four together then. So, Kwa, Ra, Sha, make that be. Sha, Ta, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Ta. And that will give us our entire alphabet. So abagadahawa yakalamana sa ipatazakwarashata. Warashata.
It's like that on.
Shoot.
So if Ra and Shah was connected, it'd be for Rush.
You saying that these two were connected?
Yeah. So if we doing these two letters right here,
So
Four.
alone, and then
Right.
connected.
all right, would that be for Rush?
Yes.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
Korash. And then so with the Assyrian, they don't have those connectors. But again, with practice and familiarity, you're gonna start seeing what drops off, what actually gets connected, what gets pronounced, what doesn't get pronounced. It's gonna come with time and practice. Because again, we're talking about a language that got took from us, got bastardized, changed into something completely different. Now we're talking about Yiddish. When you read that Torah, that's not the way that they have it written today. That's Yiddish pronunciation. So when they're talking about whatever the hell that was, and now speaking in tongues, somebody probably understood that. It's a bastardized version of our language because they had to incorporate their culture into our dialect. They couldn't do it. They couldn't just leave it alone because they didn't know how to pronounce certain things, and they had to incorporate because of their familiarity with their language and their culture. They had to incorporate vowels and other like the V's, F's. Good.
It's like so is that one of the main reasons why the scripture said that they are the synagogue of Satan? Because the synagogues and stuff that they worship in and all that stuff? Is that
I mean, the synagogue itself wasn't
just a place that they learn?
that. As far as I know, the synagogue itself was not part of their culture either. Like that was also something derived from our culture.
Yeah.
Certainly back then wouldn't have been called the synagogue, but in the English translation of it, that's what we got today. But yes, essentially yes. Wa rashata. Too loud. Now let's move on to the Assyrian script. And this is what we normally see today in the Tanakh and the Torah, is the Assyrian style.
Like I said, when you do it, can you when you do the print, can you underneath it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got you. Go. And now again, remember with the Assyrian, everybody's handwriting is going to be a little bit different. Your penmanship is going to make it kind of unique to you. So however you write it, that's okay. Just let's try to make sure that we're staying in the same ballpark. You got ah. Ba. Ga. Da. Ha. Wow. Sa.
It's like it's a,
Okay.
I can't really see that.
Say that again.
I can't really see this. So is that like a curve at the top and then a straight line?
Yeah. See if I can do that better. Yeah, it really should have been more slanted, I guess. But yeah, curve at the top and straight line down.
Okay.
Like so. You do like 8, 8, 8, 8.
Oh, you want all that too?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I understand.
Shoot the whole thing. I don't want the whole shebang.
Ah. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Ah. Sa. Ah. 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 Captain Tazariak. Captain Tazash. Captain Tapash.
Huh. So like you said,
Okay.
I mean, so it's pretty much similar to ha, right?
Makes sense.
Only difference is it's connected. Yeah.
And those are the main three that we're going to get into today. About the ha, the ka, and the tha. Those are the main three that get confused with people.
So the right one is right.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
so it'll be like that and like that for the ka.
So with the ka, it's going to be more, if it could,
You know,
it's going to be more of a
we're gonna redo this later.
more square, more boxed. The ha is going to have that rounded side, and then the gap, and then the tha is going to have that rounded side connected with the foot.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even know if that picked up on it.
No, you got it. You got it. Ta. Abagada hawazaka. Ta. 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 Ya. No. Okay. Ya. Ka. All right, so this is very similar to from the Paleo to the Assyrian. It's almost going to look like the letter C. And then again, penmanship is, what it is. See if I can't break that more. So in the Paleo Hebrew, It is definitely more rounded off. In the Assyrian, it's gonna be so it kind of has a straighter back. It looks like well, we'll get into that too in a second. The pop in a second in a little bit. Just has that straighter, not as curved of a spine, so to speak. To make that a little bit smaller. And now you're gonna use this character in the beginning or in the middle of the word. At the end of it, you're going to have something that looks like this. You have a long arm, a long tail, similar to the da. But if you notice how these are all the same size, this is going to fall out of those parameters. This is the same size as these. But at the end of the word, it's going to look like this when using a ka. And you're going to find that out. But again, actually, I should have made this more square. You can have more of that straight edge, that corner on there, and then a long tail. And you're going to see that this falls below the rest of the other characters. So if I were to have, for example, bottom. It falls below that, like last we were talking about that imaginary line that would put all of these, into the same size. You're going to see that ka falls below. Again, at the end of the word. It can be different size than the rest of the characters.
Slightly, sir.
Good.
So, so would it be the same as when we put the connector for the lunchroom, right? Would it still drop off, or would it still make the full sound?
Depending on,
You know what I'm saying? If it has the long tail, would the valve
it's circumstantial.
circumstance?
It's circumstantial, yeah. So sometimes it would drop off. Like I think in our prayers, one of the words is laka.
Okay.
So that's la ka. Both of them stand alone. But now when we say Barak, ba, ra, ka, ba, it's like Barak. It falls off here.
So if we read it in the Assyrian, right? That's what I was trying to get at. Like the tail,
It would be the same.
It'll be the same.
Yeah. So for the Assyrian, the pronunciation is going to stay the same. The principle is going to stay the same. It's just the way that you write it.
Yeah. So if we was to do Barak in the Hebrew, that it'll be the same. So what's the point of having the long tail if we already have the other?
Ask white people.
It's like,
I don't know why they did that shit either, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you make the on the bottom?
Yes. This is ka. La. You know what? I had to actually switch it up. My fault. I was supposed to be writing the Assyrian in the black. So that was ka. 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 And cut. My fault. Wow. I really did mess that up. I started off with the Assyrian here, and then just drifted right back into the Hebrew, and then started off with Paleo Hebrew and drifted right back into the Assyrian. All right, so let's correct all this. We're new to the last one without classes. Appreciate y'all spending some time with me.
So we gotta start all over, sorry?
Yep. Yep. Erase everything that you just did and commit it to memory.
Okay, so we just start over with a new page.
I'm just gonna switch these around.
It's so nice.
Nice, actually. That's what I did. I'm still gonna do it. Okay, back on track. Give me some time. Wow. Wow. I don't see that did everything right here.
Slightly, sir. If I may.
You got it?
So how many of the alphabet has two in the Assyrian?
Say it again.
Like cup has two different versions of it in the Syrian. So how many of them are like that?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4. So would it mess with the numbers as well?
No.
No? It'd still be the same?
Yeah. Again, for whatever reason that they had decided to do this, make this the end of the letter, or the end of the word, beginning in the middle. Why they made that change, I don't know enough about that. In a sense, like the only thing I can compare it to is like when we use in English capital and lowercase. You know, like so the capital B looks different than the lowercase b. The capital C damn near the same as the lowercase c. But the capital D, it looks different than the lowercase d.
Right. So,
and there's really kind of no reason behind that as far as I know.
right. I mean, if you look at the English alphabet, the B, the D, the P, the Q are pretty much the same letter, just turned and flipped a different way around. You know what I'm saying? It's a little confusing if you're learning English for your second language, but it's a little bit confusing as well in the Shawan Qadash.
Absolutely.
Yeah, too.
Yeah.
So it may take others a little bit longer to understand.
Absolutely. And we're so used to one way of life. Like this ain't like learning Spanish. You know, completely different because they use the same letters. Now Russians, they've got, Russians got shit like this in their alphabet. Chinese people got shit like that in their alphabet. That's like an entire sentence thing there. We just, now we're looking at it through the lens of people that we were enslaved by under oppression and had to adapt their writing system to meet our communication means. La. And really, that might have been overpronounced. Just kind of got a kicker up here, and then like a question mark at the bottom. And now again, this is gonna actually, if you look at it, well, this that's there, the la, it starts off above it. And when you're looking at the Assyrian text in the Tanakh, you're gonna see that it starts off above, it ends at the same length, but because it's such a unique character, you're not really gonna be able to confuse this with another one, for the most part. Now again, that's just why it's important to look at the characters that you're trying to pronounce, see where they fall on, like in that diagram, if they fall below, they start off above. But for the most part, it's just gonna be that. La. Ma. Now this is another one of those. Ma. Now, with this too, in the paleo, that's going to drop below the rest of the character line. The ma and the na are pretty much the only ones that kind of have that characteristic. Now, when you get into the Assyrian, at the beginning or in the middle, at the end. Ma. The na is going to have the same effect. Na. Now, a lot of people get these confused, the na and the ka. They do have a similar shape, very true. This is more rounded off. This is more square, and it's a lot shorter. It's more linear than curved, but also the tops and the bottoms of the ka is longer than the top and the bottom of a na. So when you're reading this in the Assyrian in the Torah of the Tanakh, again, it's important to compare and contrast. Like when we're reading it, a lot of times we might have like a little cheat sheet with us so that we can look at the individual characters outside of the word that it's trying to convey so that we can identify what's what. So you're just going to see how this is shorter, a little bit more straight edge. These are longer, a little bit more curved. And now at the beginning or in the middle of the word, you have this character. At the end of it, which looks very similar to ka. It's just going to be that shorter R. It's almost going to look like the wa. It's going to have that longer tail. it's going to fall below that line. The tops are going to be the same height. The bottom is going to fall below that line. Just like the cop. The dot is going to stay within those parameters. It's going to be at that same height as the rest of the character. So the na is just going to have that kind of short arm, long tail. The ka, long arm, long tail. Da, long arm, short tail. Wa, short arm, short tail. Ya, just a little thing. Just a little. Ain't really nothing to it. Kalamana. In case anybody wants to know. You got this?
Lucky. So, and my, is that a line going through that?
No, that's just a cut on the thing. Talk about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So, you want to draw one?
So ma,
So, we have to do
yeah,
this,
so not this.
not the line. So, we have to do this right. No.
I mean, more or less, yeah. Yeah, you're in the neighborhood. Again, everybody's penmanship is going to be a little bit different.
I'm sorry.
So the top and the bottom, I just don't want you to get this confused with the pie that we're about to bring out in a second. Like this, just a little bit shorter. Like not even that. It's just not this long. Yeah. Yeah, so I do apologize. You know, there are some gashes on the whiteboard, but those, yeah, right. Just for now. Just for now. We're gonna get a better one soon. Sa. Sa. Now again, this is gonna look real close to the ma, but now the ma is more boxed off. It's got a separate arm there too, but like even on the ending of the word, it's gonna be more of a box. This is damn near just a circle with a collar. You know, very close to the eye and the paleo. This is sa. Pa. This is the other one that has a variation.
Slap.
Good.
We didn't do.
So
Straight the top.
you are correct. For what? Like, so, I.
Slap.
Now I'm trying to do it without. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You let me know. You let me know when we're going on.
Slap.
It's a team effort. Team effort. Excuse me. So, I. Let me see that shit. They must be. So I guess this. Yeah. Okay, I see which one.
Is it from you?
I got Shawan about to call me.
No, that I am calling the other one.
It's actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
This right here?
I,
If you can get seat charge.
it's good. Again, these got the variation. Actually, there's 5. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's that. Wow.
No, it's a little bit smaller. But it's the same.
That don't go like that?
It's just a tad bit bigger.
My fault. I did this out of order. So that. Wow. Wow.
Like, okay, so is the Syrian or I to the just like the difference with the swoop? Nope. I, yep, that one in the red. And then it's the, Syrian.
About like these 2
Yeah.
differences.
What is the difference? I mean, there's one more.
So I guess this would be more pronounced, I suppose. This is just more straight. And again, this is gonna fall below that line as well. It's gonna be a taller letter. Just like this pop. It's gonna fall below that line. So you're gonna see that these are gonna be taller than the rest, but yeah, it's more of a pronounced curve here. This one's just gonna be straight. Yeah. Appreciate everybody bearing with me. Every once in a while, it's It's still a work in progress. Gotta get back in touch with your roots, with your language. After everybody gets this copy down, we'll go over some of the characters that are a little too close for comfort, that are easily confused. Just like the one that the sister brought up, that I and the Tazah, that can get mixed up. Even these two get mixed up because they have similar features to it. Good.
Or the Syrian Qua with the fun to use this here. Yes. Did you say that?
I didn't say this, but yes. But now you're never gonna see Assyrian characters written with Paleo characters. So like when you're reading the Torah, it's only ever gonna be this. So we'll never have the chance of getting confused with that. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I have never seen a Torah, so I couldn't even.
yeah,
This is my first time.
hand me tonight. Oh, shit. I got you. Yep. So the Tanakh and Torah essentially the same thing. It's just the Old Testament. The Torah is the first 5 books. The Tanakh is the Old Testament. And again, that's just how they divvied it up. Now the English side here does not match up, like not only not word for word, but the translation is also messy. So when you're reading in the Hebrew against the Assyrian script, still the Hebrew language, it's the Assyrian script. When you're reading this in the Hebrew, the English translation is the King James Bible. So now when you look at the characters, like all them dots and all them little lines and squigglies, never mind all that. You're gonna see like for example, the lock, this one right here, you see how that starts off taller, and then you see that cup here, how it drops below that measuring line. Now it looks kind of similar to the dot. Now it looks kind of similar to the rock. Now the down the rock, top the rock. We're just gonna see how that's all that's shoulder.
So would this be spot?
Looks like you got that written down. Yeah, take your time. And really, I guess the plow would have had more of a pronounced tail on it. Just you see it in the script. It's kind of got a oh, that's like got a little tail on it. Good.
Yeah, I'll put it like that.
No, that's fine. And again, penmanship is going to be different. I was just saying on this one, it just be that flat line, like the bone on the side. Almost with the which trying to make sure. Slightly simple. Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
Shout out to Officer, Precinct Officer, or Paya Allah, tuning the class. Appreciate you joining us, brother. Hello, brother. Brother. Good. Shoot.
So I was like trying to learn Shawan Qadash in my home trade. So I just go like this first bit and doing this like this, writing it down like the first 2 minutes. Like I did it right or did
Whatever method works better for you.
You know what I'm saying? I was just like write it on. I didn't have like teaching me this, so I was just doing it on my own, writing it, doing it. Right?
You just keep on writing.
Yeah, but I was going to do it. I was trying to learn how to write it. But I didn't write none of the singing because I didn't know.
I mean, repetition definitely helps, but what you got done, yeah.
I was trying to learn how to.
And I know you got that.
But then I stopped because I didn't know how to do it.
So I'm about to see your notes.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Keep it up. You're gonna be up here teaching.
Yeah, okay, I don't see no time.
But all right, everybody else got this written down?
Good.
Good. All right. Erase this, and then we're gonna go over some of the characters that just get confused.
it's like it said.
Good.
He said, I don't want to know I've been here.
What do you do?
He said, oh, I've been here.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned from you. Papa. Again, we coming back from a language that was taken from us, manipulated, bastardized, switched around, made fun of, lost, kidnapped by another group of people. You might know some of them. They wear these little weird, tiny little hats. I think they use like bobby pins or some shit to stick them in, or some Velcro or something like that. They have these little weird little hats and then these crazy sideburns.
I think it was chewing gum or something.
Something like that. Some chewing gum. I don't know. They might even be too cheap for that. I don't know.
Some spit.
Just a little bit of spit, little.
Yeah, almost all their words.
On the Yamaka. They just say Yamaka. We'll figure it out though.
I don't know.
It's like they said about me. I was about to say, they always got somewhere in there dang on.
Always, somewhere.
He's like, what?
Bunch of weirdos running around with these little hats and these crazy sideburns.
Chopping up chickens and dripping blood over there.
Don't turn the electricity on the Sabbath because that's crazy to them.
Or do anything. That's they say.
Right, but they rob everybody else. Won't turn on the electricity, but they gonna rob everybody else on Sabbath. Rat looking bastards. So now, the main ones that get confused, we try to stick to the same format that we just had. We do a couple by couple. Is the so now the cop
like that.
Good.
Also, the ha would be one of the
Yeah.
ones that would be
Ha, ha,
ha.
ha, la, da, da, ha. Get that out of order. You're right. Listen, you're right.
It's
When
like
you're right, you're right.
Hey, look, I'm learning from you.
Listen, when you are right, and I will write. Ha! Ha! And the ha. And the tha. You're gonna have it. Ha! Ha! Tha. So now these just often get confused with each other. The main characteristics that you're going to see is in the ha, it's got that curve, long arms, long arms, short tail. It's got this leg over here, but it's got a break in the middle of it at the top. It doesn't connect all the way through. Whereas with the ka, it's like straight edges. It's more of a box. It's not rounded off. It's not rounded off like the ha. Ka, but everything's connected. Almost looks like a Stonehenge, in a sense. Just straight edges, everything's connected. Similar with the tha. Now it's almost got both characteristics. It's got that curved side to it. It's got that leg that's connected. So it's got that curved edge, just like the ha. It's connected, that leg is connected just like the ka. And now it's got that foot. So these are the main three that often get confused. Everybody clear on this? We good?
Good, man. Slack, sir.
Good.
So for the next one, if I may, the ones that I find a little bit confusing would be the extended ka, the
The
da,
da and the ra,
and the ra.
and then even the wa, and then even the na. They all kind of get muddled together. So we're going to start off with, all right, so da. Wa. Na. Ra.
Slack, sir.
Good.
So what if the na and the ra was connected? How would that sound? Would it be nar?
Yep.
The walking.
The bar. So that I just put out the bar. It could have been dinar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now again, just paying attention. The up here. So just paying attention to the height of all the characters too. Da, wa, ra are going to be the same height. Same height, same length, all that shit. The ka and the na are going to fall below those lines. And you're going to see how ra, na, wa, they share that characteristic of just being just more curved over. The da and the ka, they can share that characteristic of being more straight edge. And we'll see examples more in the Tanakh we go over tomorrow. The main thing, just keeping in mind the characteristics of the curve or the roundness of it versus just that straight edge, and then length of it. Because that guy, it's not gonna be dramatic like, you got the da here and then the ka. It's not gonna be that dramatic in the text.
Probably about like that. Yeah, about a half an inch.
Yeah.
Difference.
So it just them subtle things that you just got to keep an eye out for.
Okay.
All right, before we end the class, any questions, comments, concerns?
There's no questions online, sir.
No questions in the room?
Well, I do have a question.
Sure.
So, the I and the tazah, right? So, I was trying to figure out like what like why the tazah like in the wash, not wash, in the what you call it, the Assyrian, the second one. You know what I'm saying? Not the first one, but the second one. It's similar to I. Maybe it's not gonna show.
Talk about that.
Okay. It looks the same.
So the eye is going to be more
More of a curve than it is a straight line.
It's going to be more curved, and then this is also going to fall below. So like if you're to see these two together, this is going to fall below that line. That tazah is going to be taller.
Yeah.
And again, so more of that straight leg here versus that curve, and it's also going to be taller than the rest of the letters.
Kind of. Okay. Yeah, that would be the little.
This one's going to be the same size.
Yeah.
This one just has straight arm. It's going to fall below that line.
If you look at it like that, say I couldn't really tell the difference between it because.
And it's hard to just go in there and pick one out
Yeah.
to try to show you, but we'll definitely get some practicing tomorrow too. All right, so with that, appreciate y'all joining us every Friday. Shawan Qadash. Pretty much every major metropolitan area that we have a school in, you can find a class. Depending on your time zone, whatever fits your schedule. There's a surplus of classes also on YouTube, dating back from God knows how long. I came to school about 2014-15 when General Kabal Amak was teaching Shawan Qadash. Now, luckily, it's like not luckily, but most time Christ, we got enough brothers built up in the schools to where we got it spread out all over. So get in contact with the school near you. Otherwise, every Friday, starting approximately 6 p.m. in the Midwest Central Standard Time in Milwaukee, we'll be getting to it here live, which coming up again, Feast of the Memorial of the Blowing of the Trumpets, September 15th at sundown until September 16th at sundown. Get in contact with the school near you, see what accommodations you need met, what contributions you can make. With that, we're in the class. Shalom. Y'all about some thumb to the brothers. Y'all some all out thumb about some shout to the sisters.